welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. Our final regular season Esports Tower Rocket League Rumble is about to kick off tonight. We have our group stage that's featuring some returning teams looking to prove themselves, a longtime favorite coming back in the mix, and another high school team joining in to see how they stack up against our Esports Tower teams. I'm your host, Michael Fisher. Joining me to call all of the action is Artie Nerdy Bird Rain. And Nerdy, just to your information, I know that it just came out. Esports Tower is having their club championships on Friday. It's kind of a wrap-up for all of the season. So this is the last time that these Rocket League teams get to work together, especially the Esports Tower teams, before that club championship. So what are you looking for here tonight in what is our final regular season Rumble, but also our final chance at a warm-up before everything in the fall comes to a conclusion in Friday for the Esports Tower?
The big thing I'm going to be looking for definitely is teamwork. I feel like one of the issues we've seen a lot of these teams have, whether it's the high school teams or the Esports Tower teams, is wanting to be like the overall playmaker when there's two other people on the field that can assist you in everything that you're doing, and just keeping your communication open and demonstrating without us even hearing those comms that you are working together in order to, score those goals and prevent them from happening.
Tonight will be the group stage, so see if somebody can fit in the team, as Nerdy said. They'll play a single round robin group stage. Each series will be a best of three. We'll then have our cup matches next week. But again, they're all practicing as well for the club championships. All 4 games coming up this Friday. So this is kind of a final warm-up event. And as we take a look at the teams participating, we talked about it in the open. We've got some teams coming back that we've seen for quite a few weeks, Nerdy, and the Mammoths, the Wolves, the Swerve, and Lynx. And we've got our old favorite, the Barracudas, with some old names coming back, prepping for the club championship. And we also have Vandegrift High School joining us, so that we'll see how the Vipers stack up. Of those 6 Esports Tower teams, because of course we haven't seen the Vandegrift Vipers, which team are you most excited to see tonight, Nerdy, before the club championships? Because there's some teams we haven't seen in quite a while, like the Swerve, Lynx, and Barracudas, all coming back.
Has to be the Barracudas, especially if they still have Quez on that roster, one of our longest-standing Esports Tower players who's, has always been there for every practice, every scrim, never missed a tournament. So hopefully they've been keeping that rhetoric for themselves up over the time that we've not been able to see them, and we just see a ton of improvement from the last time we actually got to watch them play.
I will spoil it for you. Quez is back. Quez is prepping for that club championship for the Barracudas. So that is going to be a fun team to watch here tonight. I was talking to some of the Esports Tower players, or Esports Tower coaches. They're really excited to see this Barracudas team come back. There's going to be some names we haven't seen for quite a while. But before we hop into our first game, we do want to remind everybody on Twitch to support your teams, celebrate their successes, be respectful to the other fans, and the mods will remove anyone who violates the chat rules. Before we hop in to our group stage, let's, of course, throw it over to Doc's Keys of the Game. Give these players some of the final reminders before this kicks off, before our club championships, on what they need to do to come away with the victory in Rocket League. Those are: create mistakes, punish to double commit, don't overstay, and bump opponents to disrupt. It's presented by the Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Let's hop into our first highlight match of the night. Mammoths and Gators in a round 1 matchup. We've seen these teams for the last few weeks here, Nerdy. They've been working on their consistency. They've been getting better and better every single week. I'm curious to see, because these are teams that might be sort of dark horses in the club championship, because they started at the bottom and now they're getting closer and closer to the top.
I have to agree with you for sure, especially the Mammoths. They have been just leaps and bounds every single week from where they were previously. Constant improvement is great to see, and let's hope that all comes to fruition here as they take on the Gators in this match.
Mammoth's roster has been together most of the fall season. The Gators will have one new player in Gopher, but has had some time to work with this roster. He's getting very consistent with them as Gopher looks to clear it out. There's a demo in front of the net, but there's no follow-up on the rotation, as Protato's going to rip a shot on an open net and ends up getting the first goal of the game.
20 seconds is all that took. Let's see if they can keep that up, but the Gators are definitely going to come back. We'll see how they perform on this next kickoff. Unfortunately, it looks like it'll go more in favor of the Mammoths, though, as it goes into that back corner. We do have, I believe that's Ender going in to try and get a touch on that ball.
Potato going to pop it up in the air and score a second one for the Mammoths. And again, this is a roster we've seen. Not Earth, Ender Crafter, and Not Earth even given the spooky shout out. And Potato, they've been together for almost this entire fall, Nerdy. And so far early in this game, they're showing why they look like a dark horse team.
One of the things that I mentioned earlier was that idea of lots of teamwork, and definitely Spooky and Potato are doing a great job of that. Sorry. Not Earth, confusing with the Spooky tag on there, managed to bring that ball into the gold, but did not finish that one up. Unfortunately, just not enough follow-up there.
What an outplay in the 1-on-2 there. The pass back to a teammate, but nobody's in rotation. The Gators just looking for a clear. Here comes Not Earth, looking for a shot on net. Going to rip one into the corner, but Fiery's able to stop it, however, but the Gators still can't clear it out. Finally, Gopher gets a touch off the wall, but it's stolen away.
Oh!
And another goal for the Mammoths.
What was that angle? That was just incredible.
That was a phenomenal goal. I think it was Ender getting in on the scoring there. Gopher finally wins the kickoff, but unfortunately stopped quite quickly by Endercraft.
Ender unfortunately lost their dribble in mid-flight there. They do have Not Earth following it up. It does get sent back towards the midfield. Now we've got Protato trying to corral it here down on the ground away from two members of the Gators. They get it popped over one, but unfortunately for them, one of the Gators players managed to elevate and just dunk it over their hoods.
Another setup here for the Mammoths. They do lose possession of the ball, though. Endercrafter gets it back, plays it off the backboard. Potato is there. The crossbar, however, will deny the fourth goal for the Mammoths, and they'll look to retreat. Not Earth's going to take a shot. The ball kind of ricochets off an odd demo in front of the net. And once again, the Gators have possession.
Got Potato coming in, taking it away from one of those Gators players, putting it right in front of the goal, and there's a follow-up touch there to find the fourth goal for the side of the Mammoths.
Mammoths are looking incredibly strong in our first game of the night, looking to make a statement. And off the kickoff, no less, make it 5. Mammoths may be a team that can challenge the Barracudas for this top spot in this group the way they've been playing, at least in this game, Nerdy.
If they can keep it up, and I mean, being a dark horse means probably you weren't scouted nearly as hard as some of your co-club teams. It might give them a better advantage against the Barracudas as they have almost another goal shot in, but an unfortunate double commit there might have been their undoing on that one.
Potato's just going to challenge the Gators as they look to clear that ball away, look to pass it back to a teammate, but Endercrafter can't quite center it up. We'll play it around two members of the Gators. They double commit in the net, but Not Earth just barely misses on the goal. This is a great chance now for Fiery to lead the clear and set something up for the Gators.
Fiery did a great job doing the give and go there, realizing they had double commit on them coming out from the Mammoths. Unfortunately, it was stolen away now with the cross-field aerial play coming out from the Mammoths, carrying it into the goal, but that corner on the crossbar will be the saving grace for the Gators. They have the opportunity to bring it across the midfield stripe now with a beautiful aerial play, just not enough follow-up, unfortunately, for them to continue to keep that ball in their possession.
Not Earth in a one-on-one against Wi-Fi, but not able to win that one. Potato misses on it as well. So Gopher's able to at least clear it out from the Gators' end and set up an attack.
Gopher tries to go for that centering pass to one of their teammates. Unfortunately, it's knocked away by one of the Mammoths players. There's a double commit coming out from the Mammoths right there as well. No one has a clean possession. Finally, we get a touch on it coming out from one of the Gators players. They're going to be able to take it across the midfield. They're trying to pass it back, but unfortunately not enough momentum from one of their teammates to snag it away before it's touched back towards the orange goal by the Mammoths.
Oh, bump right in front of the net with two teammates there, but luckily they're able to recover and stop that ball from going in. 90 seconds left. See if the Mammoths can add to their lead and make a statement win here in our first game of the night in the Week 8 group stage. As Wifey going to trick to dribble it upfield. Can't get it around Not Earth. Plays it off the backboard, though, but it's cleared away once again.
We have the Gators rotating back. All three of them have already rushed over onto their side of the field, making sure that net's not being left open, but Not Earth gets a nice shot, goes into the corner. Wifey got a great save there. However, they still have not gotten that complete clear. Gators have possession, but Not Earth comes in, stealing that ball away. Wifey with another great clear. Can they get one of their teammates there? Unfortunately, they do not. The Mammoths still maintaining possession and pressure over here on the side of the Gators.
Oh, they lose possession of the ball. Wifey not able to corral it. Unfortunately, two members in front of the goal. Mammoths can't quite score. Fiery has a chance here on the carry with the one-on-one against Not Earth in net, but it's turned away. Gopher looking to keep it alive, but this one simply stopped by the Mammoths, and they'll look to set up for another goal.
Mammoths get in that passing lane, stopping it from going across the midfield, which is nice. Now they're putting on that pressure on a Not Earth. Two of them managed to take it away, but just a slight elevation. One of the Mammoths players stops it from rolling into that goal. Potato now has possession right in front of the Mammoths goal, passes it over to Not Earth. Unfortunately, though, for them, the pass was just not at the right angle, so they do lose possession for a moment, still maintaining pressure here on the side of the Gators.
One last chance here with the game already pretty much guaranteed. And the score will end, and the Mammoths come away with a resounding win in that first series, Nerdy, and really putting on the pressure. And now we get a matchup of two teams that we haven't, well, one we have not seen, the Vandergrift Vipers taking on the Barracudas. This will be a very spicy round one matchup. We've been told Vandergrift is a very incredibly strong team, and of course we know what the Barracudas bring. They're using this week to prepare for those club championships we talked about. Again, Quez is coming back, so I'm very excited to see. We're actually getting a familiar face, Drove, who I think we've seen on some of the Esports Tower teams. This is his high school roster, so we are familiar with Drove. Drove, a very strong player, so this is going to be a very, very exciting matchup and maybe determine who's the top seed of the group is.
I'm really curious to see if the Vipers kind of shut down that quintessential play of Quez, which is like the aerial play that's really hard to shut down for even most players across the board. It feels like that's how Quez goes for a lot of cross-map goals. If they're able to shut that down, they could completely shut out the Barracudas here, so let's hope that Quez doesn't solely rely on that, and that if he does decide to, the Vipers have scouted enough, especially if they have Drove on their side, to know better than to let Quez have that ball, especially in mid-flight.
We'll take a look at the full best of 3 here, see who comes out on top between the Barracudas and the Vandegrift Vipers. And Quez and company are going to be able to make some plays. We also got Fire and Drift Lemming on the Barracudas, so some new roster moves for the Barracudas. We'll see if they can keep their familiar form as right off the kickoff. They're in control. They've centered in front of the net, but no one is there, so Duck going to be able to clear this one upfield.
Duck passes it over to one of their teammates who has a nice opportunity to hit that goal just a little bit too far to one side. Not the crossbar's fault on that one, but they do not have enough follow-up to find the back of that net. Now we have the Barracudas with the ball right in front of the Vipers' goal. Duck does manage to pop it up just high enough to get it away from a couple of those Barracudas members, but still in front of that blue goal. They need to find a clear here if they want to have the opportunity to turn this around. They do find a clear, and there's no one in front of the Barracudas' net. If Duck can reach that ball before Fire does, they have the opportunity to get this one in.
Quez going to clear that one over Richie down into the corner. Ball's going to land right in front of a Drift who's going to bang it in for the first goal, and the Barracudas on top here first.
The Vipers had a great clear. They just needed to have a little bit more gas in their tank to beat the Barracudas, who have a tendency to overcommit quite a few times on a few of these goal-scoring opportunities. So let's hope that the Vipers start recognizing that and taking advantage of those double commits and the overcommits coming out of the Barracudas.
Oh, this is a great chance for a Drift. Going to pass it over to Quez. It's stolen away, though, by Drove. Down into the corner. Fire's going to corral it. Can't quite get it around Richie, however, but can get it around Duck, and it's going to get cleared all the way down to the opposite side where Drove is a little bit hesitant on it. It's going to fall right in front of the net. Here comes Quez, but he overshoots the ball.
That was a great flick coming out from one of the Vipers players there to get the ball away from Quez. We do have Duck now trying to take this ball up the side. They do have an unfortunate, strange collision there with one of the Barracudas players. It's still now on the Barracuda side. Not a clear coming out just yet. However, the rotations have already come out from the Vipers. The one waiting at mid, though, creates an opportunity. Will it be enough? Not quite, as the ball has to get sent back over to the one side for a center pass.
Oh, Drove gets that pass stopped right in front of the net. Quez going to race over, grab possession of it, look to carry it up the field, but hits it off the ceiling. Fire can't keep it alive, and now it's a wide open net for the Vipers. They just are off angle.
The center was there, but unfortunately that crossbar angle was their undoing on that one. They chose to not overcommit and keep their one player at the goal at the midway stripe, which is good, but sometimes you have to go for the overcommit.
Drift Lemming with the second goal of game number 1 here with a great assist from Quez. And Quez going to immediately try to make another setup here. This time, though, the rebound is denied by the Vipers, who are looking to get back in this game. They get a long clear down, but Fire's waiting right there. Gets the ball stolen away, however. And the Vipers get on the board.
That was a beautiful steal in mid-flight there. Let's see if they can manage to do that one again as we go into this next kickoff, see who gets it. It's going to go more in favor of the Vipers with Ducky colliding with one in the mid. We do see an unfortunate demolition come out. I believe it was one of the Barracudas players, so they're down one for a couple of seconds, so that gives the opportunity now for the Vipers to bring this back away from their own goal.
Ball gets cleared away, and Drove just kind of steals it away from 2 members of the Barracudas. Neither a Fire or a Drift Lemming could figure out who wanted to take the ball. And he shot from Drove, turned away by Quez, follow up from Duck, but Fire able to stop that one. And now it's a wide open net for the Vipers, and Fire picks up a free goal.
I feel really bad right now because I said sometimes you have to just go for the overcommit, and they did, left their net open. I am so sorry.
Already, Caster cursing the Vipers.
I'm sorry.
They haven't even been in the Esports Tower, but they get one back. Trying to get one back. I believe that was Drove who puts it on the board and immediately nullifies that open net goal they allowed.
2 minutes and 1 second is plenty of time to even the score out for the Vipers if they're hoping to see this go into overtime or for them to get that security goal. So 2 minutes. 1 minute is doable. They just have to keep that defense strong. They already are rotating back quite well for their team, not leaving that net open as frequently as we see the Barracudas doing. As Drift Lemming hits it off the ceiling, Fire tries to follow it up. It's now still on the side of the Vipers, but the possession is in favor of Duck, it looks like. They just have to snag it away from Fire. They do that, but the follow-up there from Quez might be their undoing. It's not. Vipers still maintaining possession.
Oh, Drift Lemming and Fire collide into each other. Quez going to have to be the one to clear this one away. Looks to go up in the air for it, but just over pursues. The rebound shot by Adrift Lemming gets past one, but can't get past Drove. Follow-up, trying to play it themselves, but Richie will just simply clear it away, and the Vipers now are going to have to make some pressure happen here with 70 seconds on the clock.
Quez tries to pop it over. One of the members of the Vipers doesn't manage to do it as the Vipers are maintaining the pressure on this side. Fire has the ball. One of the Vipers comes in, unfortunately overdrives, but they still get a shot on goal, hitting that unfortunate crossbar that no one has a great relationship with. The Barracudas will get it cleared down towards the Vipers' goal. The rotations have already come out, though, so we have Drove managed to get a touch on it and another touch right in front of the goal, but there's not enough to clear it out.
A great goal by Fire. We see once again 3 assists for Quez, even though they're not making their name felt on the scoreboard. They're setting up Adrift Lemming and Fire excellently here in game number 1. But a chance here for the Vipers to stay in this one. Ball in front of the net. Quez going to pop it up in the air. Drove with one tap down, but his teammate had bailed out of the passing lane. And that's a free steal for Quez, and now pushing it upfield, looking to get that insurance goal. But with 30 seconds left, I think the Vipers might just simply run out of time.
They might as they hit the crossbar. There's a follow-up touch, but again, kind of hitting that crossbar. It's just that unfortunate relationship that needs to be worked on with everybody. Quez has possession, plays it over one, demos another shot on goal, 12 seconds left. This might just be the game where the Vipers say, okay, this is a best of 3. We take this one as just a GG, go next. Think about how they played and figure out what we need to do next round and just focus on that as opposed to focus on trying to bring the score back with 5 seconds left on the clock.
I'm very impressed as one more shot gets put in, this time for Adrift Lemming. With double hat tricks now for Fire at Adrift Lemming. I'm really impressed how the Barracudas have played. I mean, we knew this was a strong team, but the roster outside of Quez is basically always changing, and they still put together a very dominant Game 1 performance. As you said, though, I think those last 30 seconds of your Vandegrift, you say, all right, how do we focus in? How do we get ready for the next map? Because it is best of 3, and they just really need to find clears because they just didn't have much offense. It was they blast it down, Barracudas just take possession and dribble up the field. The shots were very, very limited for Vandegrift until the very, very end when they were pressing for goals.
They were doing a fantastic job on defense, though. There was one unfortunate instance that I caster cursed where they had an open goal, but beyond that, they've maintained great rotations throughout the entire course of that first round. See if they can keep that up, and honestly, they just need to spread out a tiny bit more when they're on the defense side so those clears can be more beneficial to them.
Vandegrift and Barracudas here going in what could be a matchup of 2 of the top teams of this group. They're all preparing for the club championship. Well, Vandegrift, I should say, is hoping to make a strong run so they can get invited to the club championship. The Barracudas, they're already in. Quez officially back, looking to be competing in that club championship and sliding in very well with the Adrift Lemming, who we've seen kind of rise through the ranks in the last few months of the Esports Tower, and Fire, who we haven't seen. This team looks like they've been playing together forever when we've seen Adrift Lemming basically bouncing between teams, working their way up.
You know, we've had this discussion kind of before where we've been given the notes from the coaches where they're like, yeah, this is this team's first time playing together. They only played together for the first time 2 days ago, things like that, and it never shows, at least on our end, that these guys have not played together that much.
Once again, the Barracudas with early pressure. Quez dribbles it into the corner, but it does get stolen away by Drove. A long shot down. Quez and Adrift Lemming both go up, but the crossbar turns that easy goal away.
Oh, man, that crossbar is nobody's friend ever. It's okay, but the turnaround's already happening from the Barracudas. It does get sent back to the mid by Drove. Drove looking to try and steal it away, but there's just not enough speed behind them to snag the ball first. Still in possession here, the Barracudas, but it's on their side of the field as the ball gets taken away by one of the Vipers players there, sent over to Drove on the side, who's going to play it off the wall. Let's see if they'll have a centering pass for one of their teammates. They do, but they've already decided to rotate back. There's a triple commit, though, coming out from the Barracudas there. And that is not the greatest thing you want to be seeing when they're on the offensive push.
Fire and Adrift Lemming both go for that ball. Fire gets it stolen away by Duck. Ball bounces over Drove, however, so Fire gets it around one, gets it around a second. Just has to beat Richie down into the corner, and he does just that. But there's no follow-up without any boost, unfortunately, for Fire. So all of that fancy dribbling just gets reset for Richie here. A pass over to Duck. It's stopped by Quez, and Drove has to bail out.
Quez now has it in front of the blue goal. They're going to play it off that back wall, try to center it up for someone, but there was a slight touch from one of the Vipers players to slow it down, so there was an overdrive for one of the Barracudas. Now it's at the midfield. One of the Vipers players pops it high. Does not look like Drove will be able to make it there in time, nor Richie, who elevates to try to take it away from Quez when they do just that, but they do not have a follow-up on the ground from one of their teammates, so it's still kind of a 50-50 here on the side. Adrift Lemming gets possession finally.
Drove going to pop it up in the air. Ooh, Duck kind of went for it, had to bail off, so an awkward double commit, wasting a lot of boost for the Vipers. They maintain possession. Is Richie going to try and center it up for Duck? It's just simply stolen away by Fire, though. A double commit steals that ball away. Quez looking to clear it out of the corner, stopped by Drove, who maintains possession, gets the full boost in the corner. But Quez will simply pop it away from Duck, who was incoming on that pass. The Barracudas will at least get it clear and might even get an open net goal until Drove makes a last-second save.
And that demolition might have been enough for them to start turning this around. Being a one player down for the Barracudas, even for 3 seconds, can be enough to send it back. But we've got one trying to bring it down into the goal. It does get turned away, though, by Ducky. Now in the corner, Duck is trying to steal it away from 3 members of the Barracudas. Drift Lemming putting pressure on them as well as Fire. But the ball is just getting popped high in the air with no one getting a nice possession on it.
Giroux with a tap over to Duck. A great pass. They're going to look to play the rebound off the backboard. They went for the bump in the goal instead, and a Drift Lemming able to clear it out, looking to center it up for a teammate. Nobody there, though, so Drove will just simply take possession. And now with the 9 boost they have left, attempts to clear it, but falls quite short.
There is a great that just happens sometimes. Nice try for Drove. They managed to maintain and slow down the pace of that commit for a little bit of time. Unfortunately, though, the Barracudas still are maintaining the majority of the possession, air, and side pressure. So the Vipers need to do something to start changing things up, and they do, getting the first goal of this round, taking over 3 minutes. So the defense and offense is pretty equal right now. Just a 1-goal differential. 2 minutes on the clock. We'll have to see if the Vipers can keep this up, though.
Oh, Drove gets a great clear. Quez going to take possession. Ball gets dunked right over him. Richie's got a chance to add to the lead and will. The Vipers now have a 2-0 lead here with 90 seconds left.
The Vipers have unfortunately left their goal open a few more times this round than they did in the last round, so hopefully they clean up those rotations and don't overcommit. The Barracudas have had quite a few double commits happening, though, and that's kind of being their undoing, so they have to clean that up if they want to start scoring goals and bring this one back, even out the score, even get that extra 3rd goal for them to come out on top of this 2nd round. As we do see, we've got Duck elevating to snag the ball away. There's a centering pass to one of their teammates on the back wall, but it does get stolen by one of the Barracudas members who sends it to a Drift Lemming right in front of the goal. Will get stolen away yet again, now playing it off the wall. One of the Vipers players tries to center it up for themselves, but they get booped by one of the Barracudas members.
Ooh, a Drift Lemming with a nice dunk around Duck. Richie's going to take a shot on the net. A fantastic save by Quez, but the ball on the wrong side. His Fire's clear, denied by Drove. He'll tap it a 2nd time off the wall. Steal it away from a Drift Lemming as well, in the side possession, dominating for the Vipers, and they get a 3rd goal.
I believe that was, yeah, all 3 members now of the Vipers have gotten one on the board. 45 seconds left. If they maintain the pressure they've been keeping up this entire round, I do not foresee the Barracudas bringing this one back, but they cannot have a breakdown in those rotations nor their defense. Thankfully, Richie managed to find that ball at the midfield. It's popped high in front of the Barracudas net, and they're already deciding to rotate back towards their goal, but they're going to snag it off the wall, center it up. Drift Lemming, though, is going to be anybody else to that ball. Now they've got one on them, and we do see a demolition come out onto one of the Barracudas members.
Oh, Fire rips a shot, but it just off the crossbar. Quez will be back in time to make the save, but with 14 seconds left, down 3 goals, I don't think the Barracudas are going to have it in them. And we will head to a Game 3 between these 2 teams. The Vipers with a commanding 3-0 lead here in game number 2. We'll see what the Barracudas can do to come back in this, because as you mentioned already, plenty of opportunities for the Barracudas. They just could not find the back of the net, and the Vipers really in that second half of that game just took over in terms of side control.
I have no idea what in the world happened between the Vipers in that first game and that second game. They seemed like a completely different team. Maybe they were really just trying to read the Barracudas like a book in round 1 to see what they needed to do in round 2, because that second game, they were a dominating force. They had most side possession, I feel like, compared to the Barracudas. We'll have to see if they keep it up, though.
Yeah, that after they scored that first goal, which took us 3 minutes, the Vipers, as you said, looked like a different team. They dominated side control. They still had a couple issues in the net that I think the Barracudas wish they had a couple of goals on, but we will see some double commits coming up for the Barracudas, as you mentioned, in the game that also cost them a couple times. Feels like Fire and Adrift might not be on the same page. They always seem to be in the same spot a lot of the time, so working on those rotations, as you said at the top of the show, fitting into the team and not trying to be the hero might be the small adjustment the Barracudas need to make, and if there's anyone who can be an in-game leader that I trust to fix those issues on the fly, it would be Quez. So I would not be shocked if Barracudas fix all their issues and come out on top here in our winner go home and our winner take all game number 3 as it kicks off here between the Barracudas and the Vandegrift Vipers.
Well, it looks like we've got Drove with possession in front of the Barracudas' goal, but there's no one to follow it up as it gets sent right across that goal line. Quez now taking it back down towards the Vipers' goal. Has a Drift Lemming to help them out. Unfortunately for them, Drove gets possession, elevating across that midfield, trying to bring it down in front of the goal for a follow-up from one of their teammates, but a Drift Lemming will send it back towards the Vipers' goal, popping up over one, and it goes in. I'm not going to lie, that ball cam was a little weird, and I wish we could take a second look at that one because I did not think that was going to make it.
Yeah, that was a very odd goal, as you said. The ball cam kind of deceived us there. And we'll see what the Vipers can do to answer that as Fire going to look to dribble. It has Quez right below him, but can't quite convert. A huge demo is going to go out onto Drove, though, so Quez gets possession around two members, looks to fake out Duck. It's right back to Fire, but Quez ends up hitting that ball away from his own teammate, and that's going to allow the Vipers to get it clear and hold on to just a 1-goal deficit.
Duck drops the ball down to Drove, who now has to play it around one member of the Barracudas here, and they have the follow-up from Richie, but Drift Lemming will maintain possession, trying to play it around one other member of the Vipers. They'll stall it out, though, and now Drove has the opportunity to bring it across the field. They're going to try and pass it to Duck, but there is a double commit there from the Vipers, but they have a shot on goal that gets turned away by, I believe, Quez right there.
Drove with a great steal away from Quez. Going to look to pass this back to a teammate. And Fire can't get a touch on it, but in front of the net, Quez with a huge clear all the way past Richie. Looking to play a play off the rebound. Quez will pop it up in the air, but he is out of boost, so he's going to have to reset. And Fire will keep it alive at the midfield stripe for the Barracudas, but Richie with the fantastic steal until a Drift Lemming looks for the pass, but it's a little too fast.
You've got Duck taking that ball away from Fire. Now they're going to play it off that side wall, dropping it down in front of the goal. Quez will turn it away. The Vipers racing back towards their own goal. The one at the midfield did manage to beat anybody else there, but they have one hot on their tails from the Barracudas. The clear does make it across the midfield from Duck, but Quez already has possession yet again, elevating to bring it across the midfield and drag it down, but Duck grabs the ball, spikes it over towards the wall, and it looks like they have it centered up for a teammate, but for them, the Barracudas will beat them to the ball.
Fire now looking to clear it. Can't quite get it around Drove. Drift Lemming off the back wall. Quez got to be careful to not overcommit. A fantastic steal away from Duck in the one-on-one. And now has an open dribble. It's just Quez and Drove will make a great save to keep this a 1-goal game.
We have a Drift Lemming trying to come in and get the ball, but unfortunately the Vipers are still maintaining a lot of passing. Quez now has possession, trying to drag it across that midfield. It is stolen away by Drove, and a touch from Ducky after they get hit by a Drift Lemming will force their teammate to lose possession, but they get it back. Now right in front of the goal, Drift Lemming will steal it away, but it does get sent over to Duck, who plays it off the wall, and Quez gets a nice touch on it to center it back up, and a shot on goal from Richie will bring our score to 1-aside.
First real mistake we've seen all game for the Barracudas, a wide open net. And just over halfway done with game 3, it's a tie one. As Drove's going to steal it away, pop it up in the air, one touch on it, but can't quite follow up. Richie is there though, off the back wall, but Fire and Quez will both commit on it. Quez will end up taking it, can't clear it around Duck, however. The Drift Lemming will over pursue, so it's up to Fire, who will blast it down. Stopped by Richie at that midfield stripe. Drove going to pop it up in the air. But a Drift Lemming with the huge clear down the Quez, but the shot's just wide of the net.
Now Drift Lemming trying to be their own follow-up. Unfortunately, though, Richie will manage to get it first. Fire now hot on Richie's tires. Will put enough pressure on them to force them to pass it over towards the side. And it does get stolen away in mid-flight by Quez, who drags it down, but has two members of the Vipers right against them, so they have no choice but to toss it to someone else. A Drift Lemming gets a great touch centering it up, but it is going to get turned to the side as a double commit comes out from the Vipers.
Oh, Quez rips it shot, but Drove is there to make the save. Game 3, only a minute 15 on the clock. Who's going to come away with the win? A great chance here for Richie, who takes a shot, but it's sent all the way over to the other corner, so Quez can corral it. Going to pass it down to Fire, but it's stolen away by Richie. Once again, a steal from Richie off of Quez this time. Duck will pop it up in the air, but the Vandergrift Vipers just can't find a shot. Finally, Drove takes one, but it's a little bit too high.
We've got 54 seconds left on the clock. We're either going to go into overtime or one team's going to get that golden goal right before the buzzer hits. Now we've got Drove managed to steal it away from Quez, but they've got two on them now trying to find a centering pass to one of their teammates. With a follow-up from Ducky, it looks like they Drove following it back in. There isn't that angle. It's just not working out for them as the clear comes out from the Barracudas. Now Drove trying to drag it off the wall. Unfortunately, will not beat the Barracudas to it. Drift Lemming gets a nice shot, but again, it's too high and too far to one side.
Oh, Richie loses the dribble. That could be huge. Fire going to take it off the backboard. A Drift Lemming is there. but not able to convert. 15 seconds left. Barracudas try to make the final shot. There's his fire shot. Hits off the crossbar, but he should be able to maintain possession. Never mind, Richie's going to steal it away. Quez will keep it alive. 5 seconds left. Drift Lemon can't steal the ball away. Last chance for the Vipers before we go to overtime.
Oh!
And it was rolling in, but it hit the ground.
Oh, man, that was so close. I'm sorry, Vipers. Now we are in anxiety territory. Golden goal for whoever gets it, wins it. This is definitely not a situation either team wants to be in. We've got a Drift Lemon get his shot on goal, but it's going to go wide of it as we do have Drove coming in to try to steal the ball away from Quez there. It's not enough, though. We've got Ducky and Drove now trying to double up on that ball to take it across the midfield.
Great chance here for Vandegrift, but they do lose possession. They get a huge demo onto Drove as well, so Drift Lemming will dribble it down into the corner, but it gets stolen away by Richie. But Quez is there. One touch, pops it around Drove. Drift Lemming goes for the fake out. It's all Quez off the side wall, and the Vipers will once again regain possession.
Got Quez trying to steal the ball away from Drove there, but a Drift Lemon comes in to help them out. It's spiked high. Now we've got Ricci managing to drop it down. There's a follow-up touch from Drove at the midfield, but no follow-up, so Quez now has the opportunity to bring it across the midfield yet again. In front of the goal, has played around Drove. Drove takes it away, playing it over one. Now there's no one they have to beat. Fire's close to them. They've already rotated back into the goal. We've got Ricci with a great shot, but is there enough follow-up? There's not, because the Barracudas get to the touch faster. Will Ducky be able to play it around one? They will not either. Now we've got it off the wall. It's going to be centered up. This is opportunity for a clear or a goal, and two will collide before there's even a clean touch.
Vipers got to be careful. They are very aggressive on this goal. A long clear could mean a coast-to-coast game winner. As Richie gets that ball stolen away, Drove now has to retreat into the corner. Will center it up above their own net. Look to dribble it out. Quez with the steal. Ball goes up in the air. Drift Lemming will take the shot, but it's saved by two members of the Vipers. Off the backboard, Fire with the shot. Ducky will clear it away. Now Quez has possession. The net's wide open, but Drove barely gets a hood on that car to clear it away. Now Richie will roll a shot on net, and a Drift Lemming will make a fantastic last-second save.
Adrift now trying to take it up. It'll be stolen away by Fire there. Quez is rotated back towards the goal. We've got Ricci with a shot on goal. It's going to hit the crossbar, but the follow-up from Ricci will be the golden goal after 2 minutes and 3 seconds.
So thin of a margin separates those two teams. You just said, Dirty. 2 minutes and 3 seconds into overtime. The Vipers find the game winner. They pull off the mini reverse sweep, and they take down the Barracudas, but I don't think this will be the last we see with these two teams because they are so close. They are neck and neck. Well, you know, going at it alone can only get you so far. If you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. We saw this with this new Barracudas roster, keeping it very close against a high school team that you can assume has been competing together forever. Couldn't quite get the job done, but I think given some more practice, this Barracudas team, as long as Quez is there, is going to be very, very scary. Esports Tower really takes time to create teams of well-matched teammates. Give a shout-out to all the coaches. If you're watching, haven't checked out Esports Tower clubs yet, you definitely should. Well, we'll take a quick break. We come back. We'll have more group stage action of our Week 8 Rocket League Rumble. Again, all of this is a warm-up for the club championships coming up on Friday, and, of course, a chance to be the Octane Cup winner next week of the final regular season Rocket League Rumble for the fall. We've got more Rocket League coming up right after this.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives. And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome to Esports Tower. Our website offers over 350 different fan favorites that are fully customizable. To begin, click on the product category or featured item to get started. To further customize your new gear, click the blue View More Designs button and pick your favorite design. Thank you for visiting the Esports Tower store.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
Welcome back into this Esports Tower Rumble in Rocket League, our final one of the regular season, broadcasting it live from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. The Esports Tower team's looking to get their final practice reps for the club championship on Friday, and also put themselves in a good spot heading into the cup matches next week. Fish and Nerdy here calling all of the action. But before we hop into our next round of games, we do want to take a moment to congratulate all of the Esports Tower club members who have graduated from the clubs and been offered scholarships across the country. Over the last 3 months, Esports Tower club members have received over $1.2 million in scholarship awards. These students have not only worked hard on the in-game play, but have worked hard academically as well and have earned these scholarship opportunities. The players that receive these scholarships are talented, hardworking, and driven. We could not be more proud and excited to see all of the opportunities that these players are getting and all the opportunities the Esports Tower club players will continue to get. So if you're interested, esportstower.com is the place to check out. A huge congratulations to the nearly $1.3 million in scholarship money given out heading into the fall semester. But as we reset here, get a chance to take a look at some round 2 games there. We get another team that we haven't seen in a while. That is the Swerve. I know you and I are very high on them. They've alternated between some very, very dominant runs and some lower tier ones. So they're going to be kind of a middle ground team taking on the Gators team who's looking to recover after that beatdown they suffered at the hand of the Mammoth. So this will be a very interesting one going in. Again, a lot of these teams probably practicing for the club championships while also trying to do well in this last Rumble. So be curious to see if they're working on individual things and maybe things that they can have up their sleeve for those Friday events that are coming up.
Absolutely no pressure whatsoever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just make sure you do really well here because there's a championship for the regular season on the underline. And oh, by the way, the Barracudas and Vandergrift look like the top of the teams right now. We will see, though. I've been told a lot of teams are coming back for those club championships, so I'm going to be very excited when we get a chance to take a look at those. But before we hop into our Swerve and Gators game, we'll throw it over to Doc one more time here to give his keys to the game. Those are create mistakes, punish the double commit, don't overstay, and bump opponents to disrupt. It's presented today by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Take a look at this full 3-game series here between the Swerves and the Gators. And if you're the Gators, because we just saw them in particular, Dirty, how do you recover from suffering a loss early on to a Mammoth team that looks very strong? And how do you come out looking good in this second game?
Well, honestly, the best advice I can give is recognize the mistakes you made. Make sure that you try your best not to do that again, but do not hard reflect on that game, especially because this is all being done, same day. Mm-hmm. You don't want to dwell on it. You just have to keep going forward. So know what you did wrong, correct those mistakes as you move forward, and honestly, keep those communication lines open between each other. I understand Rocket League isn't nearly as heavy a communicated esport as other esports games are, but it's still important to make sure everyone's on the same page. No one's a mind reader here, so have faith in your teammates and make sure you're making calls.
We will see what happens between the Swerve and the Gators here. Best of 3 series. Swerve will have a new member on the roster. That will be Jerry, filling in as a trial player for the Esports Tower clubs. Has not had much practice with the team, so we'll see how Sunky and Cran are able to handle with that fill-in But meanwhile, we know what the Gators roster have. They have Gopher, but they've been practicing as a threesome recently as Wifey looks to dribble this one upfield with a great little fake out, but that gets ran into by Cran, who just rips a shot, but it's a nice save there.
There's a follow-up shot there as well, but no one gets a clean shot in as it is stolen away by one of the Gators members, but it's now back in the Swerve's possession. That is taken away by Wifey, though. Plays it around one, plays around another. Is there enough of a follow-up? There's not, unfortunately, so Toki gets an opportunity to send it over towards the back wall. But there is another clear from the Gators as they collide with one of the Swerve players.
Toki, as I said, Jerry filling in this week for the Swerve. Gopher gets a nice clear. Toki now looking to make a play here on the net. Has all three members racing in on the ball, and it just gets stolen away. Has a follow-up chance here, but can't quite center it up for their teammates.
We do have the Gators now with the opportunity to bring it across the midfield. They drop it down to one of their teammates. Unfortunately, it is turned away by Toki yet again, who's now going to grab that ball off the side wall. No, it's Cran who has it, centers it up to one of their teammates, gets a shot in, but it's that back wall and not the goal, so they have to have another follow-up. And it does look like the Gators will get the opportunity to get a touch on it. Will they be able to clear it? Just barely as Fiery gets the shot over towards the mid, but it's automatically turned right back by the Swerve.
Ball popped up in the air. Here comes Toki off the backboard. Is there a follow-up from anyone on the Swerve? Cran gets a light touch on it and barely nudges it home. And the Swerve strike first here in game number 1.
That did take over 90 seconds to get that first goal, so it's a great sign that both teams are pretty equal on this one. However, that first touch off the kickoff goes in favor of the Swerve. The Gators now trying to recover from that easy shot made. Now we've got one shot on goal. Let's get it turned away, but Toki already rotating back towards their own goal to prevent it from being left open, and they'll get a touch on it to send it right across that midfield.
Ball stopped by the Gators. Look to corral this one, dribble it upfield. A pass from Wifey down to Gopher, but the ball ends up just kind of rolling past everybody. Sunky finally has to corral it. Gopher is there, though. Ball gets popped up in the air. Here comes Fiery with a great dunk. Centers it up, but there's nobody there. Gopher trying to take a shot. Can't quite get up in time, and Coran able to make the last-second save for the Swerve.
We've now got the Gators racing back to get possession of that ball, not leave that net open. The corner area on that goal not being anybody's friend. It does save that ball from going in. Now, across that midfield, the Swerve rotating back with the ball in front of their own goal. Never a situation you want to be in, allowing Wifey to come in and get the first goal for their side.
Great challenge by Wifey to tie this one up at 1-1. Toki, though, going to win that kickoff. Has a follow-up potential as well off the backboard. Unfortunately, Cran over-pursued, so Sunky will have to take a shot. Gopher will save it. Now it's Cran's chance, but it gets turned away at the last moment. And the Swerve miss another golden opportunity to score a goal.
We have an unfortunate double commit there from the Gators that the Swerve might be able to capitalize on. Thankfully for them, they do not. They have the opportunity to bring it across the side, the midfield stripe. They are now having to play it around two members of the Swerve here. Follow-up from Wifey might be enough to boop Cran away from this ball. It's not, but it is going to get spiked high. Toki now has possession, though, as it gets stolen away by one of the Gators members.
Chance here for Wifey. Off that demo, but the ball just goes a little bit too fast, and they lose their dribble. Cran now with the pass up to Sunky, who ends up retreating. Gopher can't quite stop that one. It gets stolen away. They look for the pinch over to Toki, but the shot is wide. And the Swerve look to bail out here. Sunky will get one last chance in front of the net, but can't quite find it.
We've got Gopher now trying to take it across the midfield. It does get stolen away by one of the Swerve members. I believe Wifey now trying to steal that ball back from them. There's a shot on goal that gets turned away. Another shot on goal, but it's going to be a little bit too high. There's a follow-up touch, and that would not be enough either. The Gators have the opportunity to turn this one back towards the midfield. They take it across. Now it's into the corner. Members of the Swerve have already rotated back towards their own goal, but the Gators still have possession with a great pass back coming out, but the passing lane was interrupted by one of the Swerve members.
Oh, back pass to Sunky from Toki. Cran now looking to get a touch as it waterfalls down. They got to be careful. They left the net wide open. Gopher going to try and rip a shot. It's turned away, though, by Toki. And now with 45 seconds left, the ball cleared all the way back down to the Gators side, though, wide of the net. Cran has a chance on it. Second member of the Swerve. Sunky can't quite get there, though, to center it up.
Gopher pops it up over one, gets it to the midfield, but it does get turned back by Toki already. Now off the wall, Toki tries to get another touch. They will unfortunately lose it just because of the speed of both them and the ball. Now we've got Fire, the shot on net that gets turned away by one of the Swerve members.
Swerve's dribbling it upfield, 15 seconds left, looking to end this one before overtime. Sunky over pursues on the ball, has Toki, though, racing in. They'll look to center it up themselves, and they'll do a decent job of it. Cran going to take the shot, cleared away by Fiery. Is there any final touch here in the final moments? Ball will ricochet across, hit the ground, and reset for overtime.
Now it's anxiety time for both teams. Who will get the golden goal? Will it take over 2.5 minutes again for these teams like we saw in the last round, or will someone get it quickly as we see it being played off the wall here by one of the Gators members? It does hit the ceiling, though, so they have to adjust for that. Spiking it up high. They played around 1, but it does get sent over towards the wall.
Ooh, great chance for Wifey here. Looks to drop it for a teammate, but it's stolen away by
is that
Sunky.
It? Is that it? It is
and it goes in, and 20 seconds in, the Swerve win game 1. And a very, very close game, though. You saw there at the end of the stats 30, the Swerve had 11 shots. The Gators only had 3, so you would think Swerve probably expected to get a couple more goals if that game repeats itself.
Yeah, the crossbar was no one's friend that game, that's for sure. I mean, the 3 shots that the Gators had definitely were more in their own favor, obviously, because their scoring percentage is higher. However, the more shots you take, the more opportunity you have to score a goal. So if you're the Gators and you're hoping that the Gators are going to win, you need to be preventing those goal shots from even happening to begin with, because it's just kind of crazy that many shots happen and only 2 goals went in for the Swerve that game. Normally that doesn't happen. I mean, it's just odds were not in the favor of the Swerve for some reason. Don't let it happen again, though, if you're the Gators. Take the ball away more. Do not let those shots on goal happen.
Yeah, 11 shots. You're very rarely ever going to come up with 2 goals. As you said, the Gators have got to find ways to deny those shots, got to find ways to clear the ball away. As we see here, the Swerve now in a blue will look to make an attack as Sunky races down. Can't quite get to that ball at time. Neither can Fiery, so it's Gopher who ends up clearing it away, but a rip of a shot on a double commit from the Swerve sets them up in a great position, but they can't quite finish as they get a couple of great chances.
Fiery managed to snag it away, but they had 2 on them, forcing them to get rid of that ball possession quickly. There was a shot on goal, but the follow-up at the mid was just not in the favor of the Swerve. Now they're taking it back towards their own goal, not a situation anyone wants to be in. Fiery putting the pressure on them, and Toki comes in to steal the ball away, but they lose possession very quickly. Toki now has it, elevating to try and keep it away from the members of the Swerve, but they're going to lose their dribble mid-flight and pass it over to Gopher there.
Oh, chance for Wifey, but it rolls wide of the net. Now the Swerve can dribble it upfield. A great steal by Gopher sets him up. Fiery in front of the net. But just a little tap on it will clear that one away for the Swerve all the way down into the corner. Wifey can't quite get a touch on it. They'll double commit on the ball. Toki is there, and Cran waiting back in net will come up from their goalie position. Get one touch on it, look to carry it, but Fiery will stop that one in its tracks.
Fiery has been dedicating a lot of time to their practices, and it showed a lot of improvement to the speed and confidence in their plays and their shots lately, definitely showing up tonight as well. Now we've got the ball in the corner here with the Swerve having possession, trying to play it around multiple members by elevating. They pass it over to Sunky. However, Fiery will come in as they drop to the ground, take it away, and elevate themselves into the midfield. Looking for a shot on goal, but will be interrupted. Is there a follow-up? There's not, because Sunky will get the better touch out of everyone on the ground.
Oh, Wifey with a great shot there. Cran going to make the save. Toki racing up, looks for the pass to Cran with a great little shot on net. Huge save there. The last member of defense for the Gators stops that one from going in. We remain scoreless here in game 2, but a steal from Sunky could change everything. There's just no follow-up for the Swerve. So once again, they'll find nothing from another shot.
We've got Fiery yet again making a great clear, but there was not someone else waiting at the mid for that clear to happen. The Swerve maintaining possession but not pressure, now allowing the Gators to get possession, bring it in front of the Swerve's goal. The follow-up touch on their own shot, though, will turn that ball away. Fiery comes in, unfortunate collision with their teammate will allow Cran to take the ball away. There's no one at the Gators' goal, and the ball will just roll in with ease.
Gators over-aggress for the goal. They leave it wide open on their end, and Cran scores the first one of this game, but off the kickoff here, oh, it just gets redirected barely into the crossbar. A follow-up from Gopher also hits the crossbar. 2 golden opportunities for the Gators, just a little bit too wide of the net.
Hopefully they have more opportunities here soon. There's still 2 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock for them to do something with. As Toki spikes the ball high in the air, Cran will be there to grab it, but they'll lose their dribble just due to the speed differential between them and the ball. Cran still trying to maintain possession, though, despite that awkward clear coming out from Fiery at the goal line. Pressure's still on from the Swerve here as they maintain possession. A centering shot will be turned away, though, by one of the Gators.
Cran touch off the wall, looking for the center over to Toki, who's not there. They back pass it and miss. So Cran will have to go all the way back to his own end. Him and Sunky end up colliding with each other in front of their net. Sloppy ball handling here for the Swerve, but they're able to maintain possession throughout it all.
Gators keeping up a lot of pressure on whoever has ball possession on the Swerve side. We've got Gopher managed to play it around 1, but the stall out there from one of the Swerve members will maintain possession for them a little bit longer. Nice clear comes out. We've got Sunky waiting for that ball, but one of the Gators comes in, sending it to the side before Sunky could even get a touch on that ball. Now it's centered up. Sunky comes in, grabbing it. Now it's played off that back wall. They're going to drop it down to one of their teammates, but it'll be disrupted by Fiery, who sends it to the side.
Kept alive for the Swerve there. Fiery can't quite get a touch on it. Ball popped in the air. Sunky is there, not able to get to it. Cran right behind him, can't find it either. And Gopher and Wifey will now race down and look to put something on the board for the Gators with under 60 seconds left, but it's stolen away here. Cran racing down, can't quite get there. We see a demo in transition as well, so it's a 2-on-3. So Cran's just going to retreat and give it back to Sunky, who had just respawned.
The ball does get sent over towards the side. We've got Fiery putting pressure onto the Swerve members to make sure that ball doesn't cross the midfield stripe, and it just barely makes it into the goal from a slight touch from one of the Gators members. 35 seconds left on the clock with 1 aside. This is some great Rocket League gameplay here. However, are we going to see another overtime, or is the ball just going to go in off the kickoff? All right, so the Gators have a one-goal lead here. Will they get that extra security goal here to prevent the Swerve from catching up?
Another great kickoff here from the Gators, who this time are dominating the shots taken and are in the lead, but there's still a chance here. Cran gonna pop it up in the air. The demo is gonna make it a 2-on-3 for Toki and Cran here in the final 20 seconds. And Fiery Minstrel will clear it away. Cran gets that full boost, leaves it for Sunky, however, who plays it around 1. Looks to get it around a second one, and Wifey, but can't quite do it. 8 seconds left between us and a game 3. The goal's wide open. But Fiery will turn it away. Last chance here for the Swerve. Toki will keep it alive. Over to Sunky, who can't quite find it. The ball will hit the ground, and we will move on to a game number 3 here between the Gators and Swerve.
I mean, I feel like this is the best, this is a great demonstration of good Rocket League. Both these teams are so evenly matched. Honestly, yes, that scoreline, it was in favor of the Gators, but the last game was in favor of the Swerve. This one could go either way. Definitely the Gators were much better than they were in that first game, and then that one kickoff goal that they got was the security they needed to maintain that lead.
Yeah, that kickoff goal was huge because there wasn't much separating these two teams. So the fact that the Gators were able to get that put them in the lead, as you said, and they were able to hold on. I'm very curious because after game 1, I thought the Swerve were going to run away with this series. I know it was a very close game, but they had that shot advantage. And I would say credit to the Gators. They figured things out. They were the more dominant team that time, and we'll see what happens in a game 3. As you said, these teams are very, very close. Both been working on their mechanics, keeping possession on defense. We'll see who comes out on top here. Gators and Swerve here in game number 3.
We've got Gopher who got the better touch off that kickoff, but the Swerve, there was not enough follow-up from their own teammates to maintain it. Cran tries to take a shot on goal, gets turned away, and now the ball's at the midfield. It looks like Sunky got a nice centering pass to Toke. It is going to find its way into the net despite 2 members of the Gators waiting there. Already a different speed than we saw in the last game as we got our first goal in 15 seconds as opposed to over 2.5 minutes in, with Sunky winning another kickoff like it's nothing. No pressure on them whatsoever. Now the Gators got to fix something and figure this one out. Otherwise, this game's going to be runaway for the Swerve.
Well, what's happening, but whoever's been the orange side is dominated. The teams keep switching sides, and the orange team right now looking like they'll be undefeated as the Swerve have a 2-0 lead. Cran manages to outplay 2 members of the Gators. It's a 1-on-1 in front of the net. But luckily, Gopher's able to get back in time. Now, Wifey racing upfield, loses possession, though, so that one will get cleared all the way down to that orange corner. This time, Swerve not able to quite find a goal, and the Gators could look to move on the offensive here.
Wifey and Fiery will have a little bit of a miscommunication, and both of them will back off the ball there, allowing Toki to get possession here at the midfield. They'll get a shot on goal. It gets turned away by Wifey. Is there enough follow-up from Sunky? There is. They'll send it into the corner, but there's not enough for that centering shot to find the back of the net. Cran now already back at the goal, turns a shot away by one of the Gators members. Now the Swerve have possession, sending it across that midfield stripe.
Oh, huge chance here for the Swerve to build their lead. Cran and Sunky will both go up. They'll end up running into each other, and that'll cost the Swerve this time. We had a couple of double commits from both teams early on here in game 3. Ball still on that blue side, but Cran can't quite corral it. Going to back pass it to Sunky, who will rip it into the corner, play it off the wall, but a huge save there from Gopher at least keeps it out of the blue net.
Wifey tries to pop it over one of the members of the Swerve, but can't manage to get the height right. Still in possession is Toki here, bringing it down in front of the goal. It goes into that little edge area that causes an awkward ricochet for them, so they lose possession, but a shot on goal with a follow-up touch might roll in, and it does, bringing up their score up to 3. And there are definitely Swerve are playing at a different speed than they were in the last couple of rounds, just trying to shake up the Gators' gameplay here.
Oh, shot just wide of the net on the kickoff. The Gators need to try and find something down 3-0 here early on in this game. A huge clear going to come out from Cran, but Wifey will stop it at midfield. Sunky over into the corner. Can't quite get the follow-up touch, however, and they'll have to retreat.
You've got Thrift and Cran both waiting down here to make sure that ball doesn't go in on an open goal. Gopher trying to come in and steal the ball away from one of the members of the Swerve will manage to force them to lose their possession on the ball, but unfortunately too much pressure on one player. No one at the net left that goal wide open.
Swerve have come alive here in Game 3. Looked like it was going to be a close series, a 4-0 lead. See what the Gators can do to chip away with it. Still got plenty of time. Fiery going to get a pass over to Wifey, but it's a little bit behind them. And that allows Toki to take possession, dribble it in on the net, but it's turned away at the last moment. Cran misses on it, and so does Sunky, but there's no one there for the Gators to pressure them, and they don't have to worry too much now. Fiery has a chance, but he's going to lose possession of the ball.
We still have the Gators with possession here on the side of the Swerve. It's a tiny clear coming out from one of the Swerve members as a demolition, I believe, did just happen onto one of the Gators members, so the Swerve have an opportunity to clear it now. They're slowing down, a slight double commit there from Sunky and one other. They'll collide and slow each other down. Not something you really want to be seeing, but they are up by 4, so they can make mistakes, but hopefully for them, the Gators don't capitalize on those ones as their Gators are attempting to get a clear here.
Cran, ball popped up in the air. Sunky is there for the follow-up. And with that steal now, a chance to push upfield. Toki, though, with a fantastic shot. Fiery is there, and Sunky will stop that one in midfield. The Swerve just choking the life out of the Gators, looking for a 5th goal to really put this series and Game 3 away. Can't quite find it, though, as Fiery now has a chance as he'll drop it off for a teammate.
We've got 2 members of the Swerve double committing on that clear. That might not be something they want to be doing, even if they are in the lead. We do have Sunky managing to clear the ball. It is taken away, though, by Wifey, who sends it right back towards the Swerve's goal. It's already sent back over towards the Gators' goal. Unfortunately, Wifey will elevate, play it around 1 to center it up for a teammate who snags it. Now has to play it around 2, but Toki will find it first, sending it to the wall. Gators still maintaining a level of possession, though, on the side of the Swerve.
Oh, nearly a chance there for Wifey, as we see Cran has just resided being the goalie, knowing all he has to do is hold on to a 4-0 lead, which is always a great spot to be if you're the team's goalie. As Sunky will clear it away, gets the demo. They're racing down on Wifey, but they might have overcommitted. The net is wide open. Toki's going to get there in time, however, and Wifey's follow-up shot is just wide.
Cran now has that ball, playing it off the wall, dropping it down right in front of Fiery, who elevated, so Fiery won't get a touch on it. Is there a follow-up touch from the Swerve? There's not. They're rotating back. Wifey has possession, has to play it around Toki. They, unfortunately for them, Toki will just barely get a touch on it, send it back towards the back wall. Now 2 members of the Swerve have collided, but possession still in favor of the Swerve here as the clock ticks down to 20 seconds.
Swerve going to come away victorious here. Another hard-fought battle for the Gators. Just doesn't go their way as one more goal will get added on as we tick down on time. A 5-0 win for the Swerve. They're going to feel better about themselves, but this game really not indicative, Nerdy, of how close this series overall between these two teams was.
It genuinely never is. I mean, all we get to see is either a 0-2, a 1-2 scoreline at the end of all of these best-of-3 games, and it does not reflect how much work or how many goals were scored whatsoever. So both teams played fantastic that game. It's just the Swerve had just a little bit extra luck on their side this time around.
Swerve come out on top. They'll keep pace with the rest of the teams at the top of the group. The Gators looking for maybe a rebound game towards the end of the group stage. And as we transition to our last game here before we go to a break, we have once again our lone high school team, the Vandegrift Vipers, taking on the Lynx, who we have not seen in a while, Nerdy. And the Lynx is actually a totally new roster outside of Crazy Cat. It'll be 0 Point, Mr. Electric, and Crazy Cat. They've only had about a week of practice together as a roster, so this is an uphill battle taking on Vandegrift, who just took down the Barracudas and looked to be a very strong and very well put together team.
I want to say that being only together for a week can be a disadvantage, but this is the Esports Tower we're talking about, so even if it is just a week of playing together, normally it does not show, so I'm pretty sure they're going to bring their best of the best they can tonight in this game against the Vipers, and honestly, the only thing I'm hoping to see is just not double committing on the ball to represent that they are communicating, especially because they are a newer team, and I feel like that's the biggest giveaway that a team's not worked well together or has not played together a lot is double commits.
And it's been an interesting adjustment even for Crazy Cat, who's the lone remaining member, because Crazy Cat, I've been told, joined the Esports Tower as a strict ones player. So they came in from a side of, there's no teammate, I've got to be the solo player. They've really worked well on improving their team play, however, so I'm curious how this roster will go together. And I think Vandegrift, again, this is just a chance to show what we saw against the Barracudas. They struggled early on, then they really figured things out. Of course, we know what Drove could do. He was part of the Esports Tower. This is his high school roster, so you have to assume they're working well together. Of course, Vandegrift is trying to make a strong one so they can kind of get a last-minute invite to the club championship. So that also could be some extra motivation. It might be if Vandegrift pulls away in this series, it's like, oh yeah, Vandegrift wants to come back to that club championship. Meanwhile, the Lynx are still trying to put things together for that club championship.
We'll have to see. The Lynx are a pretty strong team in their own respect. Yes, they're going to have new players, but I mean, having someone who's been there for at least a little bit of time, it does help quite a bit. So Crazy Cat, we've definitely seen them pop off quite a bit. Let's hope they take the reins a little bit and be that in-game lead for the newer players on their team so that they can all work cohesively in this next game.
Well, top into this best of three between the Vandegrift Vipers and the Esports Tower Lynx. See if the Lynx with this new roster are able to come away with a fast start, but a huge demo from Drove in front of the net, and things are already off to a poor start for the Lynx.
Going to this next kickoff, it looks like Ricci will get the better touch on that as we see Drove take out one of the members of the Lynx as well to maintain that forward pressure for the Vipers here. They're going to play it off the ceiling. Ricci will lose their dribble. Little accidental double commit there when they reach the ground, though, will result in them barely maintaining possession. Now they're bringing it across the midfield. It is interrupted, though, by one of the Lynx members as it gets spiked high in front of their goal.
Oh, another chance here. Bumpy can't quite get a touch on it, and it's a second goal for the Vipers. This time it's Drove who puts it in on the back of the net. And already the Vipers out to an early 2-0 lead. We'll see what they can do here. Is Ricci going to look to make an attempt on net? Gets stopped there by Crazy Cat. 0 point, and Bumpy, though, cannot quite get there in time. Ball in front of the net. Drove waiting for an opportunity. Sees it and lobs it in, but it hits off the crossbar.
Now the Lynx looking to get possession here to get a nice clear. Ducky, though, waiting to try and stop that from happening. They do put enough pressure on it and stall the ball out at the mid to take it away, but they get demoed in the process. The Lynx now on, turning that ball around at the midfield. Ricci will stall out awkwardly with it, though, still allowing the Lynx to have possession. The ball gets turned away by one of the Vandegrift members, but it might not be enough as it gets right in front of the Lynx's goal, though, and it is going to be turned away by Crazy Cat.
Crazy Cat not out of the woods yet, though, as the Vipers looking to keep this pressure on. Duck in the corner. Not quite able to get there. 0 point. Going to lob a ball in an open net. And just like that, the Lynx keep it close.
Now we go into this next kickoff. Ricci collides with Crazy Cat there. Neither one getting a nice touch on it, but the Lynx come out with the better off that 50-50. It will get turned away by one of the Vipers members trying to get possession off the wall here, though. The Vipers might have an opportunity to bring it back for themselves, but the Lynx beat them to the ball. Ricci will pop it high, and still Lynx maintaining possession despite that ball getting stolen away a couple times. Ducky now trying to drag it down and pass it to Drove.
Drove looking to race up the field, trying to center it over to Ricci. Plays it off the wall. Ricci is there. One more play, but Drove was just too far in front. So now Crazy Cat can look to play it up the field, though this time Duck back in the goal. Not going to allow a follow-up, and after that early scoring outburst, the Vipers have definitely slowed down as Drove now going to clear it upfield. Him and Ricci actually going to collide on that ball. Double commit also comes out from the Lynx, though, so Duck shot turned away by Bumpy in front of the net. And 0 point can't sneak it around Drove's. Duck just running into Crazy Cat time after trying, looking for those bumps in front of the goal to disrupt, like we see in Duck's keys. A triple commit from the Lynx, open things up. Duck gonna lob it on net, but Bumpy will make a fantastic save. The follow-up off the crossbar.
Duck still has possession, though. It does look like 0 point manages to pop it up over them. Drove will come in, dunking the ball down right in front of the goal with a follow-up touch from one of their teammates to find another goal for the side of the Vipers. 2 minutes and 17 seconds, though. Easy opportunity for the Lynx to bring this back and at least get the score to 3 aside.
Richie, who struggled in that Barracuda series, taking over right now. 2 goals, 7 shots. Looking to add to that total, though, is it's stolen away by a member of the Lynx. Crazy Cat, though, will collide with their own teammate, as Drove will just get driven off the ball by 0 Point. And now a chance for Richie here to add to maybe a hat trick. A back pass, though. Drove racing in. Him and Duck, though, both miss on the ball. That's a huge miss there for the Vipers looking to build their lead.
Duck and Drove both kind of double committing, and then Richie coming in for the triple commit. I don't know what the plan was there, but the odds were in your favor somehow. Normally it doesn't work out. I guess all 3 of you wanted to touch the ball before it went in. You're still up by 3. You've got 1 minute and 43 seconds on the clock. Cannot guarantee you'll come out on top of this first round, though, as we've seen multiple goals scored in the 45-second period alone in Esports Tower, so make sure your rotations are still good. The Lynx can still bring this back. They have possession right now, but they just are not fast enough, allowing the Vipers to get possession away from them, even on their own side of the field.
Chance here for 0 Point now to make something happen, but it's immediately stolen away by Drove. Crazy Cat at least gets a touch on it, but you can see Duck was waiting there, except Drove clears it away from his own teammate. The double commits have been very much a pain in the Vipers side as Richie looks to dribble it on goal. Can't quite find it, however. And Drove and company will look to drive it up the field.
Now there's just 60 seconds left in this first round. Do not think the Lynx are looking to equalize this score. That would be 3-1 every 20 seconds. It's difficult to pull off as that 20 seconds already elapsed. Now they're probably just looking to try and figure out what they need to do in this next game to bring themselves back, to not let the Vipers have get that second game and walk away with the win here, as we have 38 seconds left. What do you think the Lynx need to do differently into the next round to come out on top?
Find a way to shut down Richie has got to be my call. 4 goals on 10 shots. They do at least get one back from 0 Point, but if they're able to find Demos, you can see Richie has just basically soloed this game for the Vipers. That's got to be my key, Nerdy. You've got to shut down Richie because they have taken over this series. Almost adds another one until Crazy Cat makes that nice save.
All right, so if the advice here from Fish is take down Richie, let's hope the Lynx are listening and start putting an X on Richie's back, just bumping them around, possibly demoing if they have to take that player out of the match just for a couple seconds at a time to open up the field to allow the Lynx to have more opportunities in this next round as the clock ticks down to that 8-second mark.
Bumpy will drive it up the field one more time. It'll get stolen away by Duck. Richie is there. It's an open net for 0 Point. It will go in as the time hits 0. So they still will come away with the loss. But I will say the other thing that mainly is for the Vipers, even though they won, they've got to correct their defense. I mean, yes, they had a big lead, so maybe they had slacked off a little bit, but that was 3 straight open net goals by 0 Point that almost, if there was maybe a minute more on the clock, let the Lynx back in. So the Vipers got to tighten up on rotations, even with that big league. You don't want to ever let your team, and as you said during that match, we've seen goal-scoring outbreaks from Esports Tower teams. Got to make sure your defense is airtight until the final 5 seconds or so.
Yes, never underestimate your opponent, because as soon as you start to slack off is as soon as you start to lose. And that, had they not had that 4-goal lead in those last couple of seconds, we could have easily seen the Lynx bring that one back just due to the slack on the defense coming out from the Vipers.
We will see. Can the Vipers correct their defense? Can the Lynx find a way to slow down Richie and company? Richie with 10 shots and 4 goals. Never a bad way to have a game number 1. And right off the kickoff, Richie immediately wins it. Drove going to pop it up in the air for Duck, who's going to look to solo play this one. Maybe even pass it back to Richie, but that play just took way too long and the ball barely moved. So 0 Point and Bumpy, at least for a moment, looked like they had progress for the Vipers. But there's Richie again. Actually, never mind. It's Duck who gets credit for the goal.
This is one of those moments where I wish we had that slow-mo replay on every single one of them, because I do not know how Richie even got a touch on Duck's pass there to them. But we're already back to the next 50-50. It goes in favor of the Vipers here. They're going to play it in the air around multiple members of the Lynx. We have Crazy Cat try to elevate and steal the ball away. It's not enough. They do manage to cross that midfield mark, though, as Richie automatically just turns it away back towards the Lynx goal. Now, double commit does come out, but no colliding happening there for the Vipers. Still 0 Point has possession now. Has to play it around 1, but it'll drop right in front of them regardless, and that will be the second goal for the Vipers.
Well, Richie hasn't done much, but it's Drove and Duck who have 2 early goals for the Vipers, much like game number 1. See if they can add to their lead as Duck's going to get that one off the kickoff. Look for the double tap off the wall. Richie is there, but a great stop by Crazy Cat. should put the Lynx in the driver's seat here to dribble this one up the field.
0 Point has the ball, plays it around 1, passing it to the mid for one of their teammates, but the passing lane's disrupted by Duck there. Now we've got Ricci with possession, bringing it back towards their own goal, trying to grab some boost as their tank was almost empty. They'll elevate, playing around one member of the Lynx. They have one more to get by, but they'll collide with one of their teammates. Not something you want to be seeing as the ball hits that corner on the goal.
0 Point. Oh, stolen away by Drove, and it just rolls in. A great steal by Drove. Gives the Vipers a 3-0 lead here in game number 2. Off that kickoff, Drove's going to win that one cleanly. Duck's going to wait for it off the wall, but just doesn't have enough starting boost in the tank to get up in the air high enough to get that ball.
I don't know if you noticed, Fish, but on that score screen, we can see that Crazy Cat's dealing with some, unfortunately, very high pings, so the Lynx are going to have to play around that fact, just realizing Crazy Cat's going to be predominantly on the defense until that Wi-Fi connection fixes itself. Something that happens, it's hard to deal with, but that means you have to play twice as hard as you normally would to make up for that, and just admit sometimes technology's not your friend. The Vipers right now have the pressure on them, though. Lynx maintaining possession, get a nice centering shot, but there's not enough follow-up for their team, so the Vipers get the opportunity to clear it, but it's still on the Viper side of the field.
Drove with a great clear. 0 Point going to go up in the air. And now Crazy Cat can get a touch on it, try and get past Ricci. Will get the demo, but has run out of boost. So Duck and Drove can pinch that ball to the other side of the field.
Ball gets played off the back wall, just barely touching it before the Vipers can. The Lynx manage to clear it. They get a demolition out. We've got Drove who tries to pop it over their own hood. Collision comes out between two Lynx members, but the net is wide open for 0 Point to bring their first goal of the round at just above that halfway mark. They got 2 more minutes. They got 2.5 more minutes to get score 2 goals. The Lynx can bring this one back.
The Lynx triple commit on the kickoff. They all miss on it. But luckily for them, Duck and Ricci miss another triple commit from the Lynx. They're really trying to get back in this game, and it almost works out off the shot. But they've got to be careful they don't leave their net wide open. Drove going to play it off the backboard, but it's stolen away. And Ricci will have to retreat here as Crazy Cat gets that ball stolen away by Duck and up in the air. And another double commit from the Lynx. Doesn't seem like they're all on the same page right now.
We have Duck now bringing that ball across the midfield, dropping it down to Drove, who tries to center it into the goal. It will get touched just enough by one of the Lynx members to send it away. Unfortunately for them, though, that Lynx member and another one will one Lynx member, one Vipers member will both get demoed. It's a 2-on-2 for a couple of seconds here. The ball's now crossing the midfield into the Lynx territory. All 3 members yet again bunched up. They need to move apart away from each other in order to get possession of that ball and clear it across the midfield. Being too bunched up is not something you want to see when you're trying to bring back the lead for yourselves.
Oh, ball pops straight up in the air. Duck had a wide open net and couldn't quite find the back of it. As Crazy Cat will dribble it up the field over onto the blue side right in front of the net. A chance here for 0 Pointer, whips around, but can't get there in time, and the Lynx are starting to run out of time with only 70 seconds left, down 2 goals.
The ball gets popped high right at the midfield. Ducky will elevate to get a touch on it, try to slow it down for their teammates. We have Crazy Cat get the opportunity to bring it across the midfield, but unfortunately, Drove will beat them to it. Now playing it off that back wall, Duck tries to get this pass into the goal. They will lose their dribble, though. Still, Vipers maintaining a lot of possession here. 0 Point tries to come in onto Ricci, but cannot get a touch on that ball.
Duck going to go up in the air, misses on it. Chance here now for the Lynx, but they're not able to find the back of the net, and Ricci will just simply clear it up in the air, look to center it up to Drove, who's right in front, ends up ripping a shot, but it's stopped there by Crazy Cat and company, and with 30 seconds left, the Lynx need to find a goal here, and that's what Crazy Cat's trying to do as they get it down to the other corner.
The ball is on the Viper side of the field, but the Vipers are maintaining a lot of this possession. 0 Point putting great pressure onto the Vipers as much as they can, at least. The ball's now in front of the Lynx goal yet again. Ducky tries to get a shot, but it is going to be pushed away by Crazy Cat there. Duck slows down to try and just sneak the ball past them with a little bit of help from Ricci. They managed to maintain possession for themselves. 2 seconds on the clock, 1 second, and that's probably going to be the end of the round. The ball just has to hit the ground. 2 goals is borderline impossible for the Lynx to score. No time left on the clock. And the ball will hit the ground.
Ball touches the ground. The Vipers come away with the 2-0 win. They remain undefeated. The Lynx clearly have some things to work out. Lots of triple commits and a couple double commits costing them. But still, again, have some time to work those things out before the club championship coming up on Friday. And Vandegrift doing a very good job coming away with the victory. Well, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers to join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights, and with our featured rumbles, recruiters are taking notice as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. Well, I mean, a fantastic first 2 rounds of our final group stage of our Rumble. And as we head into the final round, do you have any advice for these teams as they try and wrap up tonight on a good note and into the club championship before we get to our final games?
I feel like a broken record here, but keep your communication lines open. Stop those double commits. I don't care if you're on the winning side or the losing side. Double commits are everyone's undoing in a 3-on-3 game because it means someone does not have pressure on themselves and it's an easy pass opportunity or even an easy goal-scoring opportunity if your team's double committing.
Well, before we catch our final games of the night, we're going to throw it over to Doc Haskell, who sat down with former Bronco Peyton Wayton Wilkins to talk about something that Nerdy was talking about, team difficulties. So let's hear what Wayton had to say on that.
Sitting down with Wayton. So you've talked about good teammates, what makes a good teammate. What are some characteristics about players that make them really hard to play with or really difficult to be successful?
I think gameplay-wise, the biggest thing is when someone's playing selfishly. So if they're like constantly going for the ball, not setting out team plays, every time it's just a solo play, and when they're not communicating with their team, that's where they're just like they're in their own mind and they just see their teammates as just resources, not as themselves also as a resource to their teammates. Because when you're just solo playing and everything, like playing like you're just solo queuing, like your teammates aren't even teammates, then you're putting yourself and your team at a huge disadvantage.
So, and some of those issues are they don't take full rotations back. They don't help on defense. They're leaving early so that you can kind of set them up early if they think you're going to get. They're not doing things that you as a team agree are important when you're in there. And largely everybody on the team, and correct me, really is playing the same type of role and same type of position. It's just where you are in the rotation in the moment.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, you can't be a dedicated defender. You can't be a dedicated shooter. So when the people are trying to be exactly that, that's where it causes confusion and you're hindering yourself and your teammates from improving.
And that's the selfish behavior.
Totally.
If somebody notices that they're kind of being that way, what's the solution?
I think it's really just communication, and I'm not saying communication like, I got it, you go for it. It's really like between the games. Like, hey, I'm noticing you're doing this a lot in these certain plays, and it's kind of putting us in awkward spots. Let's try rotating around next time, as an example.
Awesome.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome to Esports Tower. Our website offers over 350 different fan favorites that are fully customizable. To begin, click on the product category or featured item to get started. To further customize your new gear, click the blue View More Designs button and pick your favorite design. Thank you for visiting the Esports Tower store.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Welcome back to this broadcast of the Esports Tower in Rocket League, our last rumble of the season for the Esports Tower for Rocket League. As we start to wrap things up, we've got the club championships coming up on Friday for a lot of these teams. We're broadcasting it live from the Boys State Game Pants Esports Arena. Our final two series of the night here with Fish and Dirty, and we'll see some of the teams, Dirty, that I think are looking to end on a high note, come away with a nice feel. We'll have the Mammoths and the Swerves. So the Mammoths all the way at the start of the night pick up a win. The Swerves trying to come back after that disappointing loss to the Vipers, and then we'll get the Gators and a team we haven't seen, the Wolves, in our final games of the night. So teams that are really looking to end on a high note, because I think that'll do a lot for their mental, not only going into next week's final cup games, but also going into Friday in that club championships that we've been really beating to death, because that's where everything comes to line. That's where your final season performance will kind of be measured in how you do in those club championships.
Well, I understand wanting to finish on a high note here, at least tonight, kind of to round out the end of the official season for Esports Tower. But, I mean, in all honesty, all of these teams from Esports Tower are finishing on a high note. They have improved so much from the start of the season. For some of these players, since we've been watching them even from last year or the start of the summer, they are just so far ahead of where they once were that they need to hopefully are acknowledging how much improvement they've made and let that be their determining factor of whether or not they're ending on a high note. Because if they're like, man, I hardly improved at all, which is not true for any of these players, then I can understand feeling a little bit down. But regardless of the outcomes of tonight's games, everyone performed well and will be performing well on Friday.
All right, that's a great thing to remember. Is some of these players, they look back at those old videos from the summers, you said, be like, I don't even recognize that player with the same name as me. So again, everybody's been improving, but a win always feels a little bit sweeter. And of course, those club championships, you'd like to have everybody on that good mental level, not down in the dumps. But before we get to our final series, we'll let Doc give him his keys one more time, presented by the Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Those are create mistakes, punish the double commit. We have seen so many double commits come out that teams have sometimes punished, but also we have seen a lot of missed opportunities. Do not overstay. We've also seen a lot of open goal situations, and bump your opponents to disrupt. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players, professional coaches to help you rank up at esportstower.com. Well, we hop into a highlight match here again between a team we saw at the very start of the night, the Mammoths laying down the hammer on the Gators, taking on the Swerve, a team who are trying to get a comeback after a loss to the Vipers. Both these teams have been pretty strong throughout, have a chance to make a run in this tournament, especially in the next week's cup games as we kick this one off. And right now, Crayon and company not quite able to score a goal here, as it looks like the Mammoths coming in to try and add some.
Protato did a great job of booping away one of the members of the Swerve there to allow their teammate to come in and get possession of the ball. They follow up with a shot on goal, and it's going to be stopped right at the midfield. Mammoth still maintaining possession. A double commit will come out from the Swerve there above their own goal, slowing them both down, making the clear they made hard to capitalize on Cran, though stealing the ball away from one of the Mammoth players will get demoed in the process, though, allowing Not Earth to send the ball to one of their teammates on the side.
Oh, great intercept on that pass by Cran. Protato was right in front of the net. Endercrafter, though, with a huge steal. Sunky going to clear it down. Cran now racing in front of the net, but it'll be stolen away. Sunky will play it off the back wall, but not quite able to, as Toke, the new player for the Swerve, with a great steal, a great fake, and the ball just rolls in.
I honestly thought, I think that was Not Earth down there on the ground, had just enough of the tail of their car touching that ball to prevent it from going in, but the angle on it was just not in their favor. That was an incredible squeak-by goal, in all honesty.
Potato and company looking to get back into this, but it's stolen away by Toki, and it's going to be a long shot the length of the field. They can't quite stop the rebound, but Not Earth is there and now can dribble it upfield. Cran back in the net, been playing goalie most of the night for the Swerve. Unfortunately, Not Earth just loses their dribble plus a demo. Kills a lot of that offensive momentum.
The ball will get spiked high. Unfortunately for the Mammoths, they'll lose out on their possession. Cran will send it back. It gets dropped down right here at the midfield. Sunky comes in, snagging the ball away, but it does end up right in front of the Mammoths, as there's a weird double commit onto one player there from the Mammoths. Not Earth tries to get it clear. Cran gets a shot on goal. It hits that crossbar. No one for the Mammoths is in front of the goal. Sunky gets a shot, barely gets turned away by one of the Mammoths members. Now the Swerve are retreating back towards their goal.
Oh, great setup in front of the net. The pass to Not Earth. And the Mammoths, just like that, have tied the game. That was a great assist for Potato with the solo dribble. And it's 1-1 between the Mammoths and the Swerve. It's right off that kickoff. Ball's right back in the middle. Toki's going to rip a shot. It's over into the corner. Not Earth in front of the net. Just clears it out of harm's way.
Endercraft trying to put some pressure there onto one of the Swerve players. Spooky will collide with someone at the midfield. The Mammoth still maintaining possession. Those Potato sent it down into the corner. They have some pressure from the Swerve on them, so they dribble away from the ball. Spooky, Not Earth comes in to hit the ball in the net with a follow-up shot, and it'll find the back and bring their score up by 1.
Mammoths looking to add to their lead. Could potentially be in one of our top cup games next week if they pull off the win here. Not quite able to find a third goal. They'll have to retreat as Not Earth will just clear it into the corner for safety. Now can clear it around Claran and one man to beat Patoke. That will make a fantastic stop.
Shot on goal, get turned away by Cran. There with a follow-up shot coming out from Endercrafter being turned away as well. Sunky now trying to bring it across the midfield. We'll have a teammate send it to the side. There is a back pedal there by one of the Mammoth players. Will help them maintain a little bit of pressure here. Mammoths now have the opportunity to bring this ball back across as we do see a demo come out and a collision happening here in the goal between Cran and one other. Not sure if that was calculated or not, but it worked out in favor of the Swerve.
It's like a odd-looking Rule 1 there, trapping Potato in, but he eventually gets free and now has a chance on a breakaway. Outplay somebody in the corner, but Not Earth just hits the crossbar. Another great chance for the Mammoth miss, but Potato is going to keep that ball alive. Looking to take a solo shot. This one, though, easily turned away. Follow-up from Potato will also be turned away as well.
There's another shot on goal coming out from Endercrafter there that'll get turned away. Sunky barely gets their hood on it. And now we've got Not Earth trying to come in and get a shot, centering shot for one of their teammates, but Sunky comes in to put enough pressure on them to force them away from that ball. Sunky still maintaining possession despite having a couple members of the Mammoths ram into them. Now Mammoths looking to turn this one back. Toke gets a great clear down towards the Mammoths goal, but they do make a demo happen, opening up the field for their team to try and score off that one.
Ooh, Endercrafter now in the corner. Cran is there as well, clears it over the ball, the goal, and not quite able to find it. Only a minute left here. This game's gone by quite fast, the lack of goal scoring. As Toke now looking to make a play. Potato is there, though, and a great dunk by their teammate off the crossbar, but Cran will stop any follow-up attempt.
We have one of the members of the Mammoths elevating, barely misses the ball. Sunky doesn't manage to get a touch on it either. Cran finds it, though. It's now in front of the Mammoths goal. It's centered up. Sunky goes for the touch in, does not make it as one of the Mammoths members collides with them in mid-flight. Sunky now at the mid, stopping that ball from crossing that midfield stripe. It is going to be brought back, though, by the Mammoths, now in front of the Swerve's goal. Is there a follow-up shot as nobody's in front of that goal? Sunky just barely puts enough pressure onto the Mammoths to stop that ball from rolling in.
Oh, off the backboard, chance here for the Swerve to send this to overtime. But it's a 1-on-3 and a huge demo as well. Leads nearly to a cross-map goal, but that burns so much time off the clock. Last chance here, Endercrafter looking to put this game away. 3 seconds left, Potato will hit it up the wall. A huge clear, but no one for the Swerve can get there with 0 seconds left. And the Mammoths will come away with the win. And Mammoths might be on a run for one of our top cup games with their undefeated performance from the games we saw.
They are doing fantastic. I mean, there's some double commits happening. Everybody has double commits. Both teams did in that game. But they came out on top of that one. Hopefully they can keep that up in our games following this one. I believe next week when we have them, because even though we have the tournament this Friday, that's not where this group stage is playing into exactly. I know it's a little confusing. But hopefully they can keep that up next week. And the Swerve just have a few double commits that are happening too frequently. So they just need to be communicating. And as we heard Waiton say, you know, you don't have to do it in the game. You can do it in between the rounds just to make sure that you both are on the same page when you're going into the next match.
Well, let's hop into our final series of the night. The Wolves, who we have not seen, taking on the Gators. Both these teams have been really improving throughout the season, and a win here would go a long way into giving them a confidence boost heading into those club championships that we've been talking about. Let's see who takes home this series as Mischief looking to center the ball up. It's a wide open net, and the Wolves will strike first here in game number 1.
Let's see if they can keep that going for themselves. The Gators do have a pretty solid defense going into these rounds, so hopefully that doesn't break down either. So we do see they have the better possession off that first kickoff, but just not enough speed as Mischief gets a nice touch on it. They managed to play it around one member of the Gators and toss it to one of their teammates on the side. Wifey, though, will send it back towards the middle of the field, and there's a follow from Gopher, who unfortunately doesn't get a touch, so Wifey has to come in to help them out. Now a shot on goal by the Wolves. will be turned away by the side of the wall.
Wifey now can dribble it upfield, gets it around one, has Gopher next to them. They'll look for the pinch play, but they can't quite pinch it at the right angle, and it shoots over into the corner. Pinky now not able to clip that clear, but a great stop right on the goal line for the Wolves. Keeps them in a 1-0 lead as they nearly score on themselves, but Pinky able to make another fantastic stop, but does get demoed. Chance here for Fiery. Can't quite play it around both members, though.
It does get cleared. Wifey was waiting at the midfield. Unfortunately, elevates a little too high, forcing Gopher to come back, as well as Fiery. Fiery now trying to play it in the corner. They will lose out their dribble, though, to one of the Wolves members, who leaves it to rotate back, realizing their opportunity is gone. Now, great opportunity for the Gators to pull this one across the midfield. They do, but Gopher has one right above them. They fake them out, passing it to one of their teammates, but their teammate is not there, so the Wolves now bringing the ball into the Gators' goal area.
Nice pinch on the clear from the goal line, but it's immediately stopped at midfield as we see a great solo play plus a demo from Mischief there. As the ball gets popped up in the air, look for the back pass to Kidd, but they overcommit on it. So the Wolves will maintain possession but not find the back of the net here. Second chance. This one turned away with ease by Gopher.
We have one of the Wolves members and one of the Gators trying to go after that ball. It is still in front of the Gators' goal, though, so Gators looking to try and get it clear here. Wifey and Gopher both kind of were at that ball. Not something you really want to see. Gopher did back off. Wifey, unfortunately, had pressure on them from Mischief, allowing Mischief to take the ball away. Now, a follow-up from one of the Wolves players will send the ball into the corner, but it's going to get spiked high as two members of the Gators elevate onto that ball to bring it down onto the Wolves side of the field.
See there, a clear, great job by the Wolves. Can't quite sneak it under Fiery, however. So clear it down into the corner. Kidd, though, right there, we hear a demo off screen. I think that was onto a member of the Gators, so it's a 2-on-3 looking to make pressure on the net, and that's going to be incredibly difficult as Fiery. One last chance with Gopher off the respawn, but Pinky able to see that one away.
Now the Wolves have possession as they bring it across that midfield. A pass back down towards one of their teammates of Mischief, who played around one member of the Gators. Has played around another. They'll unfortunately lose their dribble now. Pink Boy Blue trying to get possession of that ball in the corner. Has a couple Gators coming up on them with help from their teammate. They'll manage to get it away from them, but there's still a follow-up touch by the Gators, playing it off the back wall to center it up, but the goal will be turned away by Mischief.
Pinky now dribbling up the field. Ball popped up in the air. Fiery centers it up for a teammate to find a clear, and it is Gopher who clears it down to the orange side, but really no follow-up here for the Gators as Fiery will finally sneak it past a couple, but Mischief right in the back of the net makes the easy stop, but can't get the dunk away. But Pinky will make the follow-up save in net.
Right now, we're looking for a security goal for the Wolves, so the Gators are just looking to equalize things, and they managed to do that with 90 seconds left on the clock. It's now 50-50. Either team could come out of this one with the lead. Wifey, though, looks like their Wi-Fi is kind of just not being in their favor, so their teams might have to make up for a little bit of stall out there, as Wifey might have some issues figuring out where the ball is with lag. But Wifey gets a nice touch on the ball regardless, finding the second goal for the side of the Gators.
Don't worry about lag there. Wifey puts the Gators in front with 1:20 on the clock. We'll see if they can hang in the lead as Wifey will go up for the ball. Doesn't get a strong touch on it, but the shot hits off the crossbar for the Wolves. Follow-up from Pinky is turned away as Wifey dunks it just out of their reach. Mischief now looking to center it up, but can't quite find the center to anybody as a demo does happen as well, so Gopher now looks to clear this one away. Pinky, though, will keep it alive. One more follow-up attempt, but it'll go wide.
You've got a double commit coming out from Gopher and Wifey there. Gopher ultimately leaves it for Wifey, but one of the Wolves members will tap the ball. Wifey maintaining possession, though, had to use a lot of boost, so the Wolves had the opportunity to turn this one around. Fiery steals it in mid-flight from one of the Wolves members. Now there's two members of the Gators here on the side of the Wolves. Will be able to find that centering shot. Fiery gets a nice shot on goal, but it will get turned away by one of the Wolves members, and an open net where it will roll into, bringing their score up to 2.
30 seconds left. Anybody can come away with the victory. We might even have overtime that we've seen a handful of times tonight in this group stage rumble as we see Wifey racing down, not quite able to get there in time. Gopher can't find the ball either. Ball still yet to be touched. Finally, Kidd able to clear that one away. Wifey, though, immediately responds to the 1-2-3 off the wall, and Fiery will put them in the lead with 14 seconds left.
They have 1 goal differential lead right now. If you're rooting for the Gators, they're looking for that extra security goal. If you're rooting for the Wolves, they're just looking for that equalizer to bring us to overtime, but it doesn't matter. The Gators find the security goal with 12 seconds left on the clock. Wolves now have to figure out what they need to do here to either bring this back or just say GG, go next, and hope to win the next game.
Off the kickoff, Wolves probably needed a kickoff goal to have any chance of winning this game. This time will tick down. 2 goals in 2 seconds. Nearly impossible, especially when it's a third goal put in there at the very end. A 5-2 lead. Gopher picks up the hat trick. And the Gators, who have had issues all night, nearly put in another one. We will see what happens in game number 2, but it feels like the Gators have finally figured things out, Nerdy, and look to end this Rumble on a high note against the Wolves.
I think like 3 goals in the last minute there were scored by Wifey, so they, despite the internet issues, were having a great game. It did look like that internet curse that was tossed onto Kid on the other side, as we saw in the last couple seconds of that game. Their connection was horrible, so hopefully in these next 2 rounds, everyone's equalized on that front, so no one can. Well, I mean, if you're gonna perform poorly and you have lag, it's a great excuse, but let's hope no one gets to blame it on the lag in this next game.
Well, let's hop into game number 2, see if the Gators can finish off the series or if the Wolves can get us to a game number 3 here. Again, final game of the night in this this group stage action for our last Rumble of the regular season. We'll have the Cup games next Wednesday to kind of put a bow on the entire season. Is right off the kickoff, Mischief going to win that one with ease. The Wolves maybe thinking the blue side is the good luck charm as they'll take over that, and Gopher and company will clear it back, looking to try and come away with another victory.
Got a great stop in front of the goal, allowing Pink Boy Blue to grab it and take it over onto the side. They've got Mischief in the middle. Will they be able to center it up for them? They barely do, but the ball skirts across that front of the goal line. Now the Wolves are forced to rotate just a little bit to try and get a better advantage position as the ball gets spiked high in the air at the midfield. Wifey will elevate and play it around 1, but cannot catch up to the ball after they tossed it.
Ball hit back to the back of the net. There goes off the crossbar there. Neither team able to have much luck here early on, as Gopher will get a touch on. It looks to rip a shot, but it's cleared away by Mischief. Kept alive by Fiery, and looks like this will just be a clear over to the orange side, as no one from the Gators really took initiative on that ball.
This pace of this game is definitely going a lot different than the first one. We've not seen a goal scored immediately, which is a great sign that both teams are pretty equally matched. Mischief has to play it around 2 members here, though, in front of the goal. Barely doesn't go in. Unfortunately, it does have to fully cross that goal line in order to be counted, as Wifey gets a great clear there.
Oh, Fiery waiting on that one. Gets a great touch in reverse over Kid. Pinky, though, going to pump it up in the air, but they kind of run into each other, and that kills their momentum. Here is a follow-up. Pinky, though, in another great position to make a save there. The Wolves not going to go down without a fight, but a demo allows Fiery to take 1 shot. It's off the crossbar. The follow-up from Gopher will miss as well, and Wifey runs into some traffic and can't convert, and the Gators not able to find the net in what looked like an easy opportunity.
Now we've got Mischief with a great clear over to the side at the midfield area. They will unfortunately lose out their dribble, have to play back just a tiny bit. Now, unfortunately for them, the Gators get a better touch on it, sending it back towards the midfield. No one's there for the follow for the Gators, though, so the Wolves can take advantage of that, sending it into the corner.
Chance here for the Wolves off the sidewall, but no one's there. Wifey's going to pop it up in the air to themselves. They'll look to play it off the backboard, but the ball not quite strong enough. Does take an awkward roll off the hood of Pinky, but he's able to corral it. Now racing down, has a nearly wide open net in front of him, but the ball just falls out of his dribble, and a huge save there at the goal line by Gopher.
We do already see the rotations coming back from the Wolves there to prevent their goal from being wide open like the Gators just did, so great job on them as Pink Boy elevates, popping the ball right into the corner of the net. Mischief with the follow-up shot will be turned away as there's a double commit from the Gators in the goal to stop that from rolling in. That double commit might not be good for them as they try to move forward. Now in the corner on the side of the Wolves field, there's a double commit from the Wolves as well in the net. So I guess that's the play of the game here, is to be 2 people in the net to not let that ball go in.
Mischief now looking for the clear, gets it over to that orange side, gonna go follow up, look for the first goal of the game, but Wifey will turn that one away. Pink Boy Blue with a touch off the back wall over to Kid, whose shot is a slow roller right into the lap of Gopher. And now the Gators can look to clear this one. A pinch, going to push that ball towards the blue side. A double commit comes out from the Wolves. They've got to be careful. They double commit on the ball again. And it's too wide of the net, though. The Gators can't corral it on the clear. So it stays on the orange side. Kid, one more chance, but this one finally cleared away by Gopher.
Now we've got Pink Boy racing back and Mischief putting the pressure on, but it's not enough as the Gators find the first goal with a minute and 95 seconds left on the clock. It's enough time to find the equalizer, enough time to bring it up by 1. So let's see who's going to take that goal and run with it as Pink Boy Blue gets a great touch but leaves it, and Mischief does as well. Gopher gets a better touch. Mischief pops it up, And it does look like they get a second follow-up touch from their teammates, but unfortunately for the Wolves, they are getting thrown all around a lot by the Gators.
Oh, a steal from Kidd, but Fiery was just waiting out in the goal. We've seen a lot of teams get defensive when they have a lead late in the game. Pink Boy Blue can't stop it, as now Gopher's going to go racing up the field, looking to add one more to the Gators' total. Not quite able to do it. We get a triple commit on net. And the ball pops up in the air. Finally will land right in Pink Boy Blue's lap, looking to tie this game up. Takes a shot, but Fiery is there for the save.
Fiery plays it off the wall to themselves. There isn't a follow-up right away from their teammates, but still the Gators beat the Wolves to the ball. It is stopped, but Gopher gets a nice touch, bringing it down into the corner on the side of the Wolves. They're looking to center it up to one of their teammates. So it looks like Pink Boy collides with them to steal the ball away. Now dragging it down onto the ground, they lose their dribble, but there's enough of a follow-up from Kidd to allow the Wolves to maintain possession, but a double commit will force them to lose it, and now the Gators have the opportunity to bring it back across the field.
Mischief takes a shot. Turned away by Wifey. Only 23 seconds left for the Wolves to tie this game up. Otherwise, the Gators will be the winners of this series. Wifey dribbles it down. A pass over to Gopher. Set it up for Fiery, who takes a shot. It's going to be wide of the net. But already 10 seconds have ticked off the clock here. Mischief with the final attempt. Can't even get to the ball, but the Gators double commit on it. Chance here. But Wifey with the clear, and that should seal it. There it is. The Gators come away with the victory. They'll end the night on a high note here, and that'll be huge going into next week and going into our club championships for all of these teams that came away with victories. Well, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers that join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights, and with our featured Rumbles, recruiters are taking notice as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. Well, as we wrap up the night, Nerdy, we saw some impressive performances all around, some shocking upsets with the Barracudas falling. We do have our ICCU player of the game to give out. Who are you going to nominate for your player of the game?
My nomination is going to Wifey.
I thought Wifey was phenomenal there for the Gators. We saw them the most. It's a tough one for me. I'd have to say Ricci, because they absolutely took over the second series we saw with the Vipers. They struggled a little bit against the Barracudas, so I'll be hesitant to see. But when you take 10 shots in a single game, I always got to give you credit. But it looks like you're so close.
One of us.
It's Gopher of the Gators who picks up the player of the game. Alongside Wifey, I thought those three with Fiery Minstrel, they look like they could maybe make a run here because they're starting to figure things out late in the season.
And Gopher was one of the kind of preliminary players tonight. Yeah, so Gopher, we hope definitely to see more of you. Hopefully you getting player of the game will give everyone at Esports Tower a little bit of, hey, maybe this player is someone we should keep around. And hopefully gives you the courage to want to stay around, because I understand this is a lot to commit to, but it can be worth it.
Well, congratulations to Gopher. You are the player of the game, brought to us by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful. Just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success, Gopher is your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game here. Again, final regular season group stage. We've got a couple more events left. We've got the club championships for Esports Tower all going on Friday. That should be a ton of fun. I've heard a lot of returning teams in Valorant, in Overwatch, in Rocket League. I know Fortnite as well. That's going to be a ton of fun. But as we prepare to put a bow on this and we get ready for next week's Cup games, what are your final takeaways from tonight's action, Dirty?
My biggest takeaway is, honestly, hopefully I'll rewind and listen to what in the world Wasey had to say about Rocket League. He is not only a content creator, but a top-level Rocket League player, and you can take a lot from what he has to say and make sure that you are, utilizing those VOD reviews, and make sure you're not trying to be the only solo playmaker on the field.
Well, congratulations to all of our team in the group stage for a great showing and some entertaining games. We'll be back next week for the final Cup games of the regular season, Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, to see who is on top of our Week 8. It's going to be a ton of fun. We also have the club championships, which I cannot wait to see as well. We're going to close out the night, though, with our top 5 presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your year's choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams out there. Here are your top 5 plays from our group stage in Week 8 of the Rocket League Rumble. To a teammate, but nobody's in rotation. The Gators just looking for a clear. Here comes Not Earth, looking for a shot on net. Gonna rip one into the corner, but Fiery's able to stop it, however. But the Gators still can't clear it out. Finally, Gopher gets a touch off the wall, but it's stolen away. And another goal for the Mammoths.
need to find it clear here if they want to have the opportunity to turn this around. They do find it clear, and there's no one in front of the Barracudas net. If Duck can reach that ball before Fire does, they have the opportunity to get this one in.
Quez going to clear that one over Richie down into the corner. Ball's going to land right in front of a Drift, who's going to bang it in for the first goal in the Barracudas' goal. With 30 seconds left, I think the Vipers might just simply run out of time.
They might as they hit the crossbar. There's a follow-up touch, but again, kind of hitting that crossbar. It's just that unfortunate relationship that needs to be worked on with everybody. Quez has possession, plays it over one. Demos another shot on goal, 12 seconds left. This might just be the game where the Bahrain possession, though, had to use a lot of boost, so the Wolves had the opportunity to turn this one around. Fiery steals it in mid-flight from one of the Wolves members. Now there's two members of the Gators here on the side of the Wolves who will be able to find that centering shot. Fiery gets a nice shot on goal, but it will get turned away by one of the Wolves members, and an open net where it will roll into, bringing their score up to 2.
This group stage rumble as we see Wifey racing down, not quite able to get there in time. Gopher can't find the ball either. Ball still yet to be touched. Finally, Kid able to clear that one away. Wifey though immediately responds to the 1, 2, 3 off the wall, and Fiery will put them in the lead with 14 seconds left.